Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about if America has a serious, serious problem with its diplomatic relationship with France, and what exposes this problem, and how Vivek Ramaswamy could fix it. So I watched the absolutely brilliant Napoleon by Ridley Scott with Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. If you haven't seen this film, highly recommended. If you're 18 or above, it's a rated R film. And I was blown away by this movie. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't know much. I literally did not know when Napoleon happened, what he did. And the reason why is I just don't know that much about French history because my exposure to French history is very limited, right? There wasn't anything that put it into my into focus for me, right? But make it an American blockbuster, suddenly I'll watch anything, right? Like so, and that is, and I think like that, like the really strange part, and correct me if I'm wrong. French history didn't matter until America made a blockbuster about it, right? Like, and that, and I to Americans, and but once it's there, let's look at it, right? So I love this film, but then, and so one of the things, reasons why I love movies is I get all this content coming up to it, people talking about, the upcoming film, and I'll get trailers and people discussing what they want in the movie. And there's just this smorgasbord of content before the film. Then there's the film, and then there's smorgasbord of content after the film. I actually even watch spoiler reviews for some movies before they come out, and then we'll go decide to go see them based on the spoiler review. That's happening more and more, right? In fact, I don't really watch non-spoiler reviews. I avoid them like the plague. I don't want to hear half your opinion, right? Like, who wants that, right? And by the way, spoilers for Napoleon in this content. Um, so Grace Randolph came, and a few other people were, and actually Fish Jelly reviewers and Grace Randolph said something that I didn't realize until I watched it in the film. And what they said is like, did you notice that this is a movie about France, all about French history, all about French people, and there's not a single French accent in the entire film? They all have British accents, and I was like, that is correct. And I was like, we have a really bad relationship with France, right? Americans, and I know why they did this. I feel that France disrespects us as a nation right now, and that they're not actually a real ally, right? They always look side eye at us. They're like, "Oh, you guys don't have a universal health care, and you guys are very regressive." And I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? Like, we beat your country hands down on every metric. Like, why are you side eyeing us?" And there's been a lot of tension between America and France, right? And when I realized the only way you could sell a French movie to Americans is if they don't sound French, because literally the accent will trigger us and remind us of the absolutely terrible diplomacy relationships between us, right, as nations right now. Like, that is a deep and profounding pattern that shows a reality element, right? And I think the reality element that we have right now is that America has a very, very bad relationship with France. So watching this movie, I walked away thinking, wow, you French guys did a really bad job with your revolution, and we crushed it. I felt really good about the American Revolution after watching the French Revolution in the movie Napoleon, right? And I was like, we reached a point where you cannot put French people in an American product speaking a French accent, because it will trigger us to remember this really tense, like, relationship we have with France, right? And it wasn't always like this. Like, Lafayette was like the dude, man. He came here, he really helped us when we needed help, right? And so look at where we are now. So how does Vivek Ramaswamy fix this? So one, I think Vivek Ramaswamy should get on a plane and go over and talk to the Prime Minister of France and say, I'm going to fix our relationship between America and France. And we're going to have a very real, open conversation about you guys respecting us, right? And I know, and I think, one, why would the Prime Minister of France do this? Well, he could be involved in the American election, right? And say, oh, by talking to Vivek Ramaswamy, I can do a swift virtual insult to President Donald Trump, right? Because I don't think that right now Prime Minister of France ain't gonna accept a sit down with Donald Trump. I'm not sure there's many people at all who would accept a sit down with Donald Trump right now. Right? He is person non grata. Right? Like he is definitely he ain't where he was in 2016. He mattered. Right? He could finish a paragraph. He wasn't 80 years old, and as he didn't fit that model, right? That David Plotz described President Joseph Biden with, right? 80 President David Plotz said the American people perceive President Biden as doddering, incoherent, lacking energy, and not very visible. And that really, that's President Donald Trump right now. So Prime Minister wouldn't take a meeting with him right now. Might have when he was president, not now, right? And now Vivek is in this position where he can go over and say, "Hey, I'm running for president, and you, the prime minister, let's show the people what it's going to look like when I'm president." And I think the prime minister would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in, man. That sounds real good. Let's do that." I think that's the best way to handle. I think so. Here's the point of this video. Napoleon proves there's absolutely massive strain on the American-French diplomatic relationship, and that at this point we're really frenemies. I think that honest. If you look at it honestly, we are frenemies. We're not actually allies in any way. And the idea that France would send us a Lafayette today is ludicrous, right? I do think we would help France just because I think we're nicer. I think Americans are nicer than French people. And you can tell me if I'm wrong there, but I've kind of heard that like when people go to France, they're like, "Oh, French people are not very nice." Like I've heard that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe that's not, but I've heard that from several people who have gone. They're like, it's beautiful. Their culture is amazing. They're very unforgiving of not knowing their language, and they're not super nice to visitors, right? So, but maybe you've heard differently. Let me know there. But I think this is a point where they could really, gain some immense ground, and really help the American people to fix a very real problem that Napoleon shows, right? You literally cannot use French accents in a movie made for Americans because it will trigger them to remember how bad our relationship is with France. And there's also this issue of right now in this moment, Vivek is positioned with more strength and more ability to reach world leaders than President Donald Trump is, which is pretty amazing. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.